Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me today for a quick installment of Slab and Gab, where we take a look at some graded cards from my collection and talk a little bit about them. And this is going to cover the 1988-89 Topps hockey release. So I showed the three cards that are on the right here, the Joe Nieuwendyk rookie, the Peter Stastny, and the Cam Neely from the set, all in matching PSA 9 slabs in a recent Slab and Gab installment, and had some feedback in the comments that some folks would like to see some others from my collection. I did mention in that video that I'm trying to get all of the Hall of Famers from the 1988 Topps release in graded PSA slab format. So I do have a base set that's in a binder, but trying to get the Hall of Famers in slabs. I also have the Wayne Gretzky over on the left there, which is one of the more notable Gretzky cards because it occurred or was issued right after his trade to the Kings, the infamous trade that rocked the hockey world in the late 80s. And so he is pictured holding his Kings sweater. And of course, on the O-Pee-Chee version of that card, he's actually on the ice in a Kings sweater. So that's one of the rare examples where Topps and O-Pee-Chee used a different image for a hockey card. So four cool ones there. And to go along with those, for today's installment, I picked out four others from my slab box here. There's something like 22 Hall of Famers or something insane in this Topps release, even though the checklist is very small at under 200 cards. So plenty of cards to track down here. This is going to be a significant challenge, but it's a marathon, not a race. And the first one of these I got at a real bargain. So this is Mark Howe, longtime NHL defenseman. I think a lot of folks maybe don't realize that he's in the Hall of Fame. Of course, overshadowed by his father, Gordie Howe, who is, clearly the best Howe ever to lace up skates, and one of the best players ever to lace up skates, quite honestly. So this is his son, Mark, played in the WHA in the 70s, and then later had a long career at the NHL level, sort of one of the top D men of his day, but had a sneaky career. He wasn't a Paul Coffey who was going to light you up in the offensive stats category, but he was just a reliable presence on the line for so long that he ended up being enshrined. And so got this one for, I think it was, I really want to say it was about $5 in a PSA 9. Now, granted, that was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and things have gotten a little bit crazier since, but there's not a big demand out there for Mark Howe cardboard, so he was one of the easier names for me to track down on my list from this set. Next up, we've got a goalie. This is Billy Smith from the New York Islanders, and he was, of course, is probably the best known goaltender in Islanders history. Was at the helm as far as goalkeeping goes for the team that won 4 straight Stanley Cups from 1980 through 1983. So just a really, really cool card to have, given his place on that dynasty team. Aesthetically, it's not the greatest photo. Not really a fan of, capless players on baseball cards, and I'm not really a big fan of helmetless players for the most part on my hockey cards, especially goalies. It's a little bit weird, but so not the nicest looking Billy Smith card, but one that was going to be necessary if I was going to commit to tracking down all these Hall of Famers. So can check that one off the list alongside Mark Howe. And then maybe one of the other better goaltenders from the 1980s who played, the majority of the decade anyway, Grant Fuhr from that Oilers dynasty. Great card here. Unlike the Billy Smith, this actually has a really nice image. Love the shot here. It's like perfectly cropped to get his wooden stick in frame, and just really, really nice. Of course, this is an era where there weren't any advertisements on the boards in the background there. So this is just a clean Grant Fuhr. Obviously, he's enshrined as all these players are, and was a big part of the Oilers dynasty that came immediately following Billy Smith and the Islanders dynasty. So, two of, outside of maybe Patrick Waugh, who only really played in the latter half of the decade, these might be the two premier padmen of the 1980s. So pretty cool to get that pair for this project. And then last but not least, I've had this one a long time. I probably bought this card 10 or 12 years ago, but one of my favorite players and one of the greatest players in the history of the NHL, and maybe, I guess, underappreciated for somebody who's, a member of the Hall of Fame and I believe number 5 in career points to this day. Hartford Whaler, Mr. Whaler, Mr. Ron Francis. This guy was the franchise. Ronnie Franchise is the nickname, and I've mentioned it many, many times on the channel how pretty much my whole family, we were a hockey family living in Connecticut. My brothers and I played. We went to Whalers games every year, and my family was like devastated when the trade happened that sent Francis to the Penguins. So that was a little bit rough, but yeah, beautiful card nonetheless, and I'll gladly accept any Ron Francis cards. I would have bought this one even if I wasn't working on this project of getting these Hall of Famers, but certainly glad to have this to go along with the other 7 that we see here. So that takes us up to 8 of these now, Hall of Famers that I've shown on the channel. That's better than a third of the way there. So still have a ways to go. Obviously, the Brett Hull rookie is the big one in this set, but also the Brendan Shanahan rookie that was short printed. So hopefully we'll see some of those on the future here in the channel. But today we're going to cut it here. I'm a little bit tired and my voice is cutting out a little bit. Was at a concert last night and got in late. So I think 6 or 7 minutes is about all I've got for this video. But we covered those 4 from a really cool and creative set. I know the thumbtack design isn't for everyone, but I love these as a kid. Just because they were so foreign to me and I couldn't get packs of cards this old. So fun project, and I appreciate you stopping by to check out the latest quartet to join the 88 Topps Slabbed collection. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Until then, enjoy the hobby and take care.